What's up guys, I'm Bick and I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about Prime. Before we begin, it'd be great if you could download Loop Community Prime on your iPhone, iPad, or MacBook. The app can't be downloaded on an Android device yet, so if you don't have any of those Apple products, just stop watching the video. Just kidding, it'd be great if you could continue watching because this information is really important for stuff that we do on the weekends all the time. So, if you have the app downloaded, we're going to continue. We'll jump right in. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so once you're logged in, you're going to see something that looks like this, just a blank screen, right? And so our first thing is going to be to load set list. That's what we want to do first. So over here, and we're just going to go down here, create new set list, and just enter the name you want. I'm just going to keep that today's date. Press create. And we're good to go. Now we need to add songs. So go down here to add song. And you can scroll through all the ones we have. I'm just going to pick a few. Where are they? Yeah, not my own. And you might have to wait for it to download a little bit. But I went ahead and downloaded them ahead of time. So we'll do that one, and we'll do Living Hope. Great. So once you have those downloaded, you'll see that we have both of them here, and you can see the track up here, the entire thing, and you got all these crazy things have been lit up. I'll go through each one throughout this video, but first let's go and talk about what's in the settings up here. So you should see app settings, song settings, and something called pan. Depending on what device you're using, it might be in a different order, but you should see all these things. I'll go through each one. You shouldn't have to worry about most of these things, but just so you know what they do, I'll tell you what each thing does. So jump time, you're not going to worry about, but this is more of just if you happen to want to skip ahead or something, or if you want to go back to a certain section, you can do that. We don't do that because of markers, and I'll explain that later, but we don't need that. The cue sound is just, this is the voice that says intro, 2, 3, 4, stuff like that. And so you can pick different voices. I don't know if it's actually Phil Wickham, but you can decide for yourself. Let's just keep that on default. Click sound, so that's going to let you choose a variety of different tones for your click. Most of our tracks already have a click that we've already put in, and so we don't need to use the click that Prime provides. And that is that you can get that by going down to generate click dynamically. That'll have a click that Prime puts in, but we have our own, so we'll keep that off for now. Font size, this is just going to help you see the words if you need to. Just make them a little bigger, a little bolder. Dark mode, that's just going to make the screen darker and look like this if you want that. I know some people like that. I'll keep it off for now. Click subdivision. So again, this is only if you use the Prime click, but this will just separate, this will make it from quarter notes to eighth notes. That'll change your click. Oops. Okay, we'll keep that off. We know what this does. This just lets you use Prime's click, but again, we have all the clicks that we need in our own tracks. And the click accent, that is going to be, that's just going to put a stress on the downbeat. So it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, instead of just going kind of the same tone the entire time. So next we have pan, and you're going to want to keep this on pan most of the time. If you are at Lake Forest, we use a Trax rig. I know other places might use that too. That's where you might use stereo, but most of us are going to just use pan. So we'll keep that there for now. If you want to learn how to use a Trax rig, we'll include a separate tutorial or workshop later. But for now, we're just going to keep this on pan. Great. And so up here, you're going to see this is the title of our set list. We just used today's date, April Fool's. And then you'll see devices. This is going to be, if you want to use a tracks rig, you can pick that, but we're just going to use the computer output for now, the computer that I'm on. MIDI, don't worry about that. And outs, this is going to be where you can assign different stems to different outs, but we're not using tracks rig, we're not going stereo, we're just going mono, and we have our setting on pan, so we're just going to ignore that for now. Up here you have something called Edit Song, and please just don't touch this option at all. You can see it says Edit Markers. That's when you get stuff like this, and you can just potentially mess up the whole song. And this affects everybody who has the track, so please don't touch this, because it affects everybody, and it could mess up everybody's tracks if you do something wrong. So please just don't touch this. Ever. So moving on, we have this magnifying glass. This just zooms in on the track, so you got the end and the finish right there. And zooming out, this is just the entire thing that we just zoomed in on. But that's what that does. If you want to find a specific part in the song, you can do that, but we're just going to keep that zoomed out for now. Okay, moving down, we're going to come back to this set list over here, but moving down over here, at the bottom right, we'll start over here. You have the key that the song is in. So Not My Own is in the key of A major. If you click on this, you can change it to any of these, but we're going to keep that in A for now. If you were to change it, you just hit apply, and it would change it accordingly. Next up, we have the BPM, or the tempo, the beats per minute. And Not My Own is in 156 BPM. You shouldn't need to change this for all the songs, but if for whatever reason you do, this is how you do it. And just hit apply. Fade out. So what this does is if let's say you're in the middle of the song and you want to fade out, just press this button and it'll fade you out. And it'll keep the click going too, and the track will keep moving so that you can fade back in if you want.
Instrumental 3, 4.
Great. So that's what that does. The repeat you're not going to use because we don't use the markers and we don't edit the song. Remember, we don't touch this, so we don't need to worry about repeat. Master. So this is the master volume. You can drag it and adjust it by on iPhone, iPad. Just drag your finger down from here on the computer. Just click and drag. You can hear what that sounds like. Sounds kind of funny. Sounds kind of cool. So that's that. Next, you'll see this time over here. And so what this does is this is adjusting the start and the end time. So let's say you want your song to start a little later. If there's a super long intro in the track, you can do that. You can move that up. So it'll sound like this. Instead of starting at the beginning, it'll start right here. So you can do that if you want. And then if you want to have it end a little earlier, you can do that as well. So you can adjust the end so it'll end like, it'll sound like this. It'll just cut out. So if you want to do that, what you can also do is you can add a fade out. So this is just putting a fade at the end. So let's say, to make it simple, you have it ending at 3:55, but it's going to start fading out at 3:50, if that makes sense. So we'll see what that sounds like. Let me get it close. Okay.
End. 3, 4.
So the fade starts there, and it's a pretty quick fade. If you want it to be more gradual, you can make it longer, and then you'll be able to hear that. But you can experiment with that if you like. You shouldn't really need it, but it's there if you do happen to need it. So next up, we have this button. This is just a skip button, so we're at Not My Own right now. And if you press this, it'll move us up to Living Hope. And if you press the other one on the left-hand side, it'll move us back. So pretty straightforward. Next we have this play and stop button. Pretty easy. Play is play,
One,
pause is
two,
pause, and then stop
two.
is
One, two,
pause
three.
and bring back to the beginning. So if you're over here and you play it, you press pause, you'll be able to stop and keep going. If you press stop, let's say you want to start the song over during practice or whatever, you can just go back and start over. It's right back at the beginning for you. So next we have the stems, right? This is what makes up the track. You got the bass, drums, electric, vocals, all of it, and the click and the cues right here in the red. And so what's cool about Prime is that you can solo certain things that you want, and you can adjust the different levels of the stems and turn some of them off. I'll show you how to do that. So let's say you're an electric player, and you want to listen to your part and the other electric player's part. So let's say we're right here, and just by pressing solo on both of them, I can listen to both parts. And let's say I'm electric 2, I just want to listen to my part. I can just solo mine. And then maybe I want to continue to listen to the other electric part, but a little less. I can do that right here by dragging the volume of the electric out or down a little bit. Alright, so I can adjust this. You can hear that, the change. Alright. Then you can even do this in the context of the entire song. So let's say you are electric 2 and you know your part pretty well, but you want to be able to play with the song and still hear a little bit of your part. You can do that by dragging the volume down. Right. Back up if you need it. So you can do that, and you can also turn it off too. So let's say you know your part really well. You can go back to a part where there's a lot of electric 2. Turn it off, and now you can just play with the rest of the band.
Instrumental. 3, 4.
This is also handy when you're doing the weekend. If you're doing the song, you probably have someone leading it, so you can turn the vocal off, right? So you don't need that.
3, 4.
Alright, so there. Take it back out. So this is a great tool for practice and for when you're doing the weekend. It's super versatile. You can do so much with it. If you want just a click, you can do that. You know. So there's so much you can do with this. So mess around with it. Use it for practice. Use it for the weekend. Comes in handy a lot. So let's move on to these sections. The set list over here. So let's say you need to, for whatever reason, rearrange the order. On the computer, you can click and drag, and it'll change it. You can also click these 3 dots and remove the song. On the iPhone and the iPad, you can edit the set list, and then from there you can tap and drag where you need to put the songs, and I believe you can also delete the songs as well, remove them from the set. Other than that, you have the key over here, the BPM that it shows, and then you have this thing called flow. So what this does is, right now it looks like a play button. So right now it's set where Not My Own, once we're done, it'll just stop the track and that's it. You'll need to click on Living Hope in order to go to the next song, right? But if we click this once, that's gonna send it right into Living Hope as soon as Not My Own's done. So it'll sound like this. I'll just press play over here with Not My Own. So it's going, Not My Own is ending. And then instead of having to click Living Hope, it'll go right into it.
2. Intro. 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so pretty cool feature. But let's say, that ending was a little long and Living Hope kind of takes a while to get in. Let's click this one more time. Now we have, it's kind of like an overlap, right? So Living Hope's going to start when Not My Own is ending. So we'll see what that sounds like here.
2. Intro. 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so you can see how Living Hope started even though the track was still on Not My Own. So that kind of comes in handy sometimes. But let's say, you know, there's a little too much in the track of both that kind of overlap. I want more of a fade. So you click this one more time, and now you have a crossfade. So now, Living Hope's going to fade in while Not My Own fades out. So I'll play it, and we'll hear that.
In 3, 4.
1,
So
2.
it's fading. Not My Own fades a lot
Intro.
faster.
2, 3, 4.
And it creates a perfect fade in for Living Hope. So that's how that works. If you click this one more time, you'll see kind of like a little half of a box with an arrow pointing out of it. If you choose to use the click that Prime uses, if you turn the generate click dynamically on, you can use this function and it will keep the click going after the song ends. If you just use the click that we have on our tracks, this won't work, but if you use that, this is what it'll sound like. So this is great if you want to keep playing when your pastor comes up and he's speaking and he wants you to keep playing or something like that. This could come in handy, but this is what it's going to sound like. So Not My Own is going to end and the click is going to keep going. So see how the time is still going, even though the song ended? The click is still going, so that'll go on for as long as you want. But, of course, we have our own click, so you might not need that. But that could come in handy. But just know that you need to change the click if you want to use that. Finally, if you have a song that is not on here that you just want the click for, you can add song, and then go to click track. Add click track, enter the name, we're just going to say song, select the BPM, the time signature, the sound, we'll just stick with default, and then create. Let's do a different title, we'll do title. Okay, create, and now you have a click track that'll go on forever until you want it to stop. Can adjust the master volume here. Right. So you have that. That should be it. If you guys have any more questions about Prime, please contact your COS leader at your campus or contact the COS Central team. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.